The diplomatic deception. The vast emptiness of space rippled with distortion as three massive vessels emerged from their faster-than-light jump. The Krillian diplomatic fleet had arrived at the edge of an unremarkable yellow star system, one catalogued in their archives as System 7839 Blue. The local inhabitants called it Sol. Commander Vexthor stood on the bridge of the lead vessel, the Eternal Dominion, his four arms clasped behind his chitinous back. His species, the Krillians, had built an empire spanning 40 star systems over 3,000 years. They had seen countless primitive worlds, and this one appeared no different. The third planet from the star showed the telltale signs of early industrial civilization. Radio waves, primitive satellites, and chemical propulsion systems that barely allowed the natives to escape their own gravity well. His second-in-command, Officer Zira, approached with measured steps. Her crystalline exoskeleton caught the light from distant stars as she presented her tablet. The device projected holographic data into the air between them. Vexthor studied the information with his compound eyes, processing multiple data streams simultaneously. The natives call themselves humans, Zira reported in their clicking language. They have achieved nuclear fission and have established a presence on their natural satellite. Their technological development places them at classification Tier 4 on the imperial scale. They are approximately 2 centuries away from achieving interstellar capability on their own. Vexthor's mandibles clicked in what his species considered amusement. 2 centuries was an eternity in galactic politics. By then, these humans would be fully integrated into the Krillian sphere of influence, their resources feeding the Empire's continued expansion. The pattern had repeated itself dozens of times before. Have they detected our arrival? Vexthor asked. Yes, Commander. Their primitive sensor arrays picked up our entry signatures. They are currently broadcasting across multiple frequencies, attempting communication. The translation matrix has already decoded their primary languages. Good. Begin the standard integration protocol. Let them see our superiority, but maintain the appearance of benevolence. These creatures must believe they are being offered a choice. The 3 Krillian ships moved with deliberate slowness toward the inner system. Each vessel stretched over 2 kilometers in length, their hulls composed of living metal that shifted and adapted to optimize performance. Energy shields created faint distortions around them, powerful enough to deflect anything these primitives might throw at them. Weapon ports remained closed, but any species with basic sensor technology would detect the massive power cores thrumming within each ship. On Earth, chaos had given way to focused determination. In a secure facility buried 3 kilometers beneath the Swiss Alps, the Global Defense Council had convened within hours of detecting the alien arrival. The chamber was circular, with representatives from every nation seated around a central holographic display. The air hummed with tension and the quiet were of advanced computer systems. Director Chen Wei stood at the center, her presence commanding despite her small stature. She had spent 30 years in military intelligence, rising through ranks to lead Earth's Unified Defense Initiative. Her gray hair was pulled back severely, and her dark eyes missed nothing as she studied the 3 alien vessels displayed in the hologram above her. Analysis, she said simply. Dr. Rajesh Kumar, Earth's leading astrophysicist, manipulated the display with practiced gestures. The alien ships rotated slowly, revealing every angle captured by Earth's orbital telescopes and deep space monitoring stations. We are detecting energy signatures that exceed our most optimistic projections by factors of 10 or more. Their propulsion systems appear to manipulate space-time itself. Their hull composition is unlike anything in our materials database. General Sarah Morrison, representing the Unified Military Command, leaned forward. Her decorated uniform displayed service medals from 3 different continents. Can we defend against them? A heavy silence filled the chamber. Dr. Kumar exchanged glances with his colleagues before responding. With conventional weapons? No. Their energy shields alone would neutralize our most powerful nuclear arsenal. We would need something far beyond current deployment capabilities. Director Chin nodded slowly. She had expected this answer. Earth's military forces had advanced significantly in recent decades, but they remained bound by the laws of physics as humanity currently understood them. These visitors clearly operated on a different level entirely. They are attempting communication, reported Lieutenant Jackson from the communications station. Broadcasting on multiple frequencies. Our AI translation systems are working to decode their language structure. Put it through, Chin ordered. The holographic display shifted, showing the interior of an alien vessel. Commander Vexthor appeared, his four-armed form imposing even through the distortion of the transmission. His compound eyes seemed to stare directly at each council member simultaneously. When he spoke, the translation system rendered his clicking speech into smooth English. Greetings, people of Earth. I am Commander Vex Thor of the Krillian Empire. We have observed your world with great interest. You stand at the threshold of a new era, one that will determine the future of your entire species. Director Chin stepped forward, her expression neutral. Welcome to our solar system, Commander. I am Director Chin Wei of the Global Defense Council. We speak for all nations of Earth. Your arrival has generated considerable interest among our people. Vex Thor's mandibles clicked in what might have been satisfaction. You show wisdom in unifying your response. This will make our discussions more efficient. The Krillian Empire has guided 40 civilizations to prosperity across the stars. We extend this same opportunity to humanity. Over the following days, the negotiations proceeded with careful precision. Vex Thor presented what he called the Integration Accord, a comprehensive treaty that would bring Earth under Krillian protection. The document was extensive, filled with technological specifications and legal frameworks that humanity's best minds worked to understand. Dr. Elena Volkov, Earth's chief xenopolitical analyst, spent sleepless nights reviewing every clause. What she found disturbed her deeply. She stood before the council, dark circles under her eyes as she presented her findings. This is not a partnership, she stated bluntly. This is a sophisticated form of conquest. The Krillians offer us technology, yes. Medical advances that could extend human lifespan by decades. Energy systems that would solve our power needs. Transportation technology that could connect our world in ways we have only imagined. So what is the problem? Asked Ambassador Torres from the Diplomatic Corps. Volkov highlighted sections of the holographic document. In exchange, we surrender mineral rights to our asteroid belt, our outer moons, and significant portions of our deep ocean floors. We accept population controls that would limit human growth to rates they determine appropriate. Most significantly, we agree to technological limitations that would prevent us from ever matching their capabilities. We would become a permanent underclass in their empire. The council chamber erupted in angry voices. Representatives argued over the implications while military officers demanded more information about Krillian capabilities. Director Chin let the chaos continue for precisely 90 seconds before bringing her hand down on the table. The sharp sound cut through the noise like a blade. Enough, she said quietly. The room fell silent. We are not here to panic. We are here to find solutions. Commander Vex Thor requested another meeting 3 days later. This time, his demeanor had shifted slightly. The veneer of patience wore thin around the edges. Director Chin noticed the way his mandibles clicked more rapidly, how his forearms moved with agitated energy. Director Chin, Vex Thor began, his translated voice carrying an edge it had previously lacked. The Krillian Council grows concerned with your delays. This is a simple matter. You accept our protection and guidance, or you face the galaxy alone. There are forces in this universe far less benevolent than the Krillian Empire. Are you threatening us, Commander? Chin asked evenly. I am stating reality. Your species possesses nuclear weapons, orbital platforms, and basic space capability. You believe this makes you powerful. It does not. You are children playing with dangerous toys. Without our guidance, you will destroy yourselves or attract attention from entities that will destroy you. General Morrison stood abruptly. And if we refuse your generous offer? Vex Thor's compound eyes seemed to gleam with something almost like satisfaction. Then we would be forced to implement protective custody protocols. For your own safety, of course. Your weapons would be neutralized. Your space capability would be restricted. Your population would be managed. This is not a threat, General. This is necessity. The galaxy has rules, and you are not equipped to understand them yet. After the transmission ended, the council sat in stunned silence. The mask had finally slipped. The Krillians had revealed their true nature, and it was exactly what Earth's analysts had feared. Director Chin activated her personal comm device with a code known to fewer than 20 people on Earth. This is Chin. Authorization Alpha Black 7. Initiate Protocol Omega. Full activation sequence. Across the globe, encrypted messages reached hidden facilities that had operated in absolute secrecy for decades. Deep beneath the Gobi Desert, massive doors began to open. In the Mariana Trench, underwater installations powered up for the first time in years. At Lagrange Point 5, far beyond the moon's orbit, dormant systems came online. Commander Vex Thor, she said into the comm system, her voice calm and measured. We will provide you with our answer in 48 hours. We ask only that you remain in your current position while we complete our deliberations. Vexthor's image showed clear annoyance, but he agreed. Very well. 48 hours. But understand this, Director. The Krillian Empire does not make offers twice. You will accept our terms or you will accept the consequences. The transmission ended. General Morrison looked at Director Chen with concern. Protocol Omega, she said quietly. Are we really going there? Chen nodded slowly. Humanity did not survive this long by accepting defeat. We have prepared for this possibility since the day we first looked up at the stars and wondered if we were alone. Now we know we are not. And now we show them what humanity does when backed into a corner. In the depths of space, far beyond Pluto's distant orbit, something vast stirred from its long sleep. Automated systems responded to quantum-encrypted signals, beginning startup sequences that had been tested countless times but never activated in earnest. Power cores ignited, drawing energy from dimensions that conventional physics could barely describe. Engines larger than cities began their warm-up cycles. The Titan was waking up. Commander Vexthor settled into his command chair, satisfied that the humans would soon accept reality. Every species eventually did. In 48 hours, Earth would join the Krillian Empire, and another primitive world would learn its place in the cosmic order. He had no idea how wrong he was. The Titan awakens. The countdown had begun. 48 hours until Commander Vexthor expected Earth's unconditional surrender. Across the planet, humanity held its collective breath while its leaders prepared for the most audacious gambit in human history. In bunkers, command centers, and secure facilities around the globe, people worked with quiet determination. This was not panic. This was purpose. Director Chinwei stood in the operations center deep beneath the Alps, watching data streams cascade across dozens of screens. Sleep had become a luxury she could no longer afford. Around her, the best minds humanity could produce worked in coordinated silence, each person understanding that the next 2 days would define the future of their entire species. Status report, she commanded. Colonel James Park, a veteran of 3 decades in aerospace defense, stepped forward with his tablet. Protocol Omega assets are responding as planned. Deep space monitoring stations confirm activation signals received. Primary systems are powering up according to schedule. We are tracking energy signatures consistent with full operational readiness. Timeline? Chen asked. 36 hours until the asset reaches optimal positioning. The quantum communication network is stable. All ground-based command nodes are synchronized. We are ready, Director. Chen nodded, allowing herself a moment of satisfaction. Protocol Omega had been humanity's greatest secret, a project that transcended national boundaries and political differences. It had consumed resources equivalent to a small nation's entire GDP, operated in absolute secrecy for over 40 years, and represented the pinnacle of human engineering and determination. Soon, the galaxy would learn that humanity was far more than it appeared. On the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, Commander Vexthor reviewed the latest intelligence reports with growing confidence. His sensor officers had conducted exhaustive scans of the Earth system, cataloging every human installation, every satellite, every weapon platform. The picture was exactly what he expected. A species with barely enough technology to defend its own planet, let alone challenge the might of the Krillian Empire. Officer Zira approached, her crystalline form reflecting the bridge's ambient lighting. Commander, we have completed our final assessment. Earth possesses approximately 12,000 nuclear weapons, most in various states of readiness. Their orbital defense platforms number 47, equipped with kinetic projectiles and primitive directed energy weapons. Their space-capable fleet consists of 3 military stations and various cargo vessels. None of this represents a credible threat to our vessels. Vexthor's mandibles clicked with satisfaction. As expected, these humans are following the standard pattern of primitive resistance. They delay and posture, hoping for some miracle that will never come. In 24 hours they will accept our terms, and this system will become another resource node for the Empire. What he did not know was that human sensor technology had improved dramatically in recent years. While the Krillians scanned on conventional frequencies, Earth's quantum-entangled detection grids operated on principles the Empire had never encountered. Humanity had been watching the Watchers, learning everything they could about Krillian scanning patterns, blind spots, and technological assumptions. Dr. Kumar worked frantically in his laboratory, analyzing every piece of data collected on the alien vessels. His team had identified subtle patterns in the Krillian energy shields, minor fluctuations that suggested specific resonance frequencies. They had mapped the power distribution systems, noting how energy flowed through the living metal of their hulls. This information flowed directly to Protocol Omega's tactical computers, systems that were already calculating optimal engagement parameters. Director Chin, we are receiving a priority signal, Lieutenant Jackson announced suddenly. Source identifier matches Protocol Omega command codes. It's from the asset itself. Chin felt her heart rate increase slightly, though her expression remained calm. Put it through. Secure channel only. The main display shifted, showing not an exterior view, but a direct feed from the Titan's primary bridge. Commander Marcus Reynolds appeared, his weathered face showing the strain of rapid acceleration maneuvers. He wore the uniform of the United Space Command, a military branch so classified that fewer than 500 people knew it existed. Behind him, dozens of crew members worked at stations that would look like science fiction to most of humanity. Director Chin, Reynolds reported, his voice steady despite the magnitude of the moment. The Titan is online and responding beautifully. All systems nominal. We have achieved 75% power output. Full combat readiness in 28 hours. We are awaiting your final authorization to proceed to intercept coordinates. Chin felt the weight of the decision settle on her shoulders. Once the Titan revealed itself, there would be no turning back. Humanity would announce its presence to the galaxy not as supplicants seeking protection, but as a force to be respected. Authorization confirmed, Commander Reynolds. Proceed to coordinates Delta 7 Alpha. Maintain stealth protocols until I give the word. The galaxy is about to learn that humanity does not surrender. Reynolds saluted crisply. Understood, Director. Titan out. The signal terminated, leaving Chin staring at the blank screen. General Morrison stepped beside her, her voice low enough that only Chin could hear. Are we really doing this? Confronting an empire that spans 40 star systems with a single ship? Chin turned to face the general, her expression resolute. Not a single ship, Sarah. A statement. A message. A line drawn in the stars that says humanity will not be conquered, not now, not ever. The Krillians believe we are primitive and helpless. They are about to learn how wrong they are. The hours ticked away with agonizing slowness. On Earth, people went about their daily lives, unaware that their entire future hung in the balance. News broadcasts spoke of the alien visitors in cautious terms, reporting on diplomatic negotiations while governments carefully controlled the flow of information. There would be time for truth later. For now, humanity needed calm. Commander Vexthor grew increasingly impatient as the deadline approached. He paced the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, his forearms gesticulating with agitation. The humans continued their stalling tactics, requesting clarifications and proposing minor amendments to the integration accord. It was tedious but ultimately meaningless. In less than 24 hours, they would have no choice but to accept. Commander, we are detecting unusual energy readings from the outer system, a sensor officer suddenly announced. The patterns do not match any known stellar phenomena. Vexthor's compound eyes focused on the display. Show me. The holographic projection expanded, showing the area beyond the system's 8th planet. There, at the edge of detection range, energy signatures pulsed with increasing strength. The readings made no sense. The power output was massive, far beyond what primitive human technology should be capable of producing. Is this some kind of sensor malfunction? Vexthor demanded. Negative, Commander. Multiple independent arrays are confirming the readings. Whatever is generating this energy, it is real and it is approaching our position. A cold feeling settled in Vexthor's thorax. In 3,000 years of Krillian expansion, they had encountered countless species. They had seen surprising technology, unexpected resistance, and clever tactics. But never, not once, had a Tier 4 civilization demonstrated capabilities that exceeded their own sensor predictions. Could the humans have hidden something from them? Increase scan intensity. I want a full spectral analysis. And send a message to Earth. Ask them what is generating those energy readings. On Earth, Director Chin received the Krillian inquiry with grim satisfaction. They had detected the Titan just as planned. Now came the most dangerous part of the operation. She opened a direct channel to Commander Vexthor, her expression carefully neutral. Commander, thank you for bringing this to our attention. The energy readings you detected are from one of Earth's defensive assets. We thought it only fair to inform you of its existence before you made any decisions you might regret. Vexthor's image showed clear alarm, his mandibles clicking rapidly. Defensive asset? Explain immediately. Chin smiled slightly, the expression not reaching her eyes. Humanity has spent the past 40 years preparing for contact with other civilizations. We hoped such contact would be peaceful, but we are not naive. We built contingencies. What you are detecting is one such contingency. We call it the Titan. The Krillian commander's 4 arms moved in agitated patterns. Impossible. Our scans showed no such capability. Your species barely has rudimentary space travel. You cannot have built something generating energy signatures of that magnitude. You scanned for what you expected to find, Commander. You looked for chemical rockets and nuclear weapons. You did not look for quantum displacement engines or zero-point energy extraction. You assumed we were primitive because that fit your preconceptions. That was your first mistake. In the depths of space, the Titan completed its final approach maneuvers. The vessel was unlike anything humanity had built before or since. Stretching over 5 kilometers in length, it represented the combined scientific achievement of every nation on Earth. Its hull was not made of conventional materials, but of programmable matter that could reconfigure itself for optimal performance. Its power came not from fusion or fission, but from tapping into the quantum foam of spacetime itself, drawing energy from the fundamental structure of reality. Commander Reynolds stood on the bridge, watching as his ship approached the Krillian fleet. His crew of 3,000 represented the finest minds humanity could produce, people who had trained for this moment their entire careers. They had lived in secrecy, sacrificing normal lives for the chance to defend their species when the moment came. Stealth protocols disengaging, his tactical officer announced. Going to full visibility in 3, 2, 1. The Titan dropped its cloaking fields, and suddenly it was there, a massive presence that dominated every sensor in the solar system. The ship's exterior lit up with running lights, each one powered by more energy than a small city consumed in a year. Weapon ports opened along its hull, revealing armaments that humanity had never deployed before. Shield generators created visible distortions in space, their power output dwarfing anything the Krillian vessels could produce. On the Eternal Dominion, chaos erupted. Alarm klaxons wailed as sensor stations overloaded trying to process the impossible readings. Officers shouted reports in overlapping voices, their usual discipline shattered by the shock of what their instruments were telling them. Commander Vexthor stared at the display in horror. The human vessel appeared on the hologram, its scale making his own ships look like insignificant toys. The energy readings were off the scale, showing power generation that exceeded Krillian dreadnoughts by orders of magnitude. This was not a Tier 4 civilization's technology. This was something far, far beyond. Officer Zira's voice shook as she reported. Commander, their weapons are targeting all 3 of our vessels. Their shield strength is reading at 12 times our maximum output. Their power core is generating energy signatures consistent with controlled quantum singularity manipulation. This technology, it should not be possible for them to have this. Vexthor's mandibles clicked frantically as his mind raced through options. Everything he knew about humanity was wrong. Everything the Krillian intelligence services had reported was catastrophically inaccurate. These were not primitive natives to be easily conquered. These were a species that had hidden their true capabilities with masterful deception. Commander Reynolds opened a communication channel that broadcast across all frequencies. His voice was calm, carrying the weight of absolute confidence. Commander Vexthor of the Krillian Empire, this is Commander Marcus Reynolds of the Earth Defense Force Titan-class Dreadnought Indomitable. You entered our star system offering protection we do not need and demanding submission we will never give. Your scans of our world saw what we allowed you to see. Your assumptions about our capabilities were based on information we carefully fed you. In short, Commander, you have been played. Director Chin appeared beside Reynolds in the transmission, her expression stern. Humanity has watched the stars for thousands of years, wondering if we were alone. We prepared for the day when we would learn the answer. We built the Titan not as a weapon of conquest, but as a shield of deterrence. We hoped never to use it. You have forced our hand. Vexthor found his voice, though it trembled slightly. This is impossible. No species achieves this level of technology without revealing themselves. Our intelligence services are the finest in the galaxy. Your intelligence services saw what we showed them, Chin replied. Radio signals from primitive broadcasts, chemical rockets and nuclear weapons. What they did not see were the quantum research facilities, the deep space construction yards, and the scientific breakthroughs we kept hidden. Humanity learned long ago that the greatest advantage is the one your enemy does not know you possess. The Titan maneuvered closer to the Krillian fleet, its massive form blotting out stars. Its weapons remained locked on all 3 vessels, the targeting solution so precise that the Krillians could detect exactly where every shot would impact if fired. The message was clear. We can destroy you at will, but we are giving you a choice. You have 2 options, Commander, Reynolds stated flatly. The first is to withdraw from our system immediately and inform your empire that Earth is not interested in integration. Tell them that humanity claims this region of space as sovereign territory and will defend it with whatever force is necessary. The second option is to test whether your shields can withstand our weapons. I can tell you now they cannot. Choose wisely. Vexthor looked at the data streaming across his displays. His tactical computers had run thousands of combat simulations in the past minutes, and every single one resulted in the complete destruction of his fleet within seconds of engaging the Titan. The human vessel outclassed them in every measurable category: firepower, defense, speed, and maneuverability. Fighting would not be a battle. It would be an execution. Officer Zira, he said quietly, prepare the fleet for withdrawal. Set course for the nearest Krillian outpost. Zira hesitated. Commander, the Council will not accept this failure. They will demand explanations. Then I will give them the truth, Vexthor replied, his voice heavy with defeat. We encountered a species that was smarter than us, more prepared than us, and more determined than us. We will tell the Council that Earth is not a Tier 4 civilization. They are something far more dangerous. They are a species that plans centuries ahead and values freedom above all else. The Krillian Empire has no business here. The 3 Krillian vessels turned slowly, their drives building power for the jump to faster-than-light travel. As they prepared to leave, Vexthor opened one final communication channel to Earth. Director Chin, you have taught the Krillian Empire a valuable lesson today. We underestimated you completely. I will recommend to the Council that your species be granted wide berth and full diplomatic recognition. You have earned the respect of the galaxy. Chin nodded slightly. We did not seek conflict, Commander. We sought only to be left alone to chart our own course among the stars. Go in peace and spread the word. Humanity is not to be trifled with. The Krillian fleet vanished in flashes of distorted space-time, jumping away to their distant empire. The Titan remained on station for another hour, its sensors sweeping the solar system to ensure no other vessels lurked in hiding. When Commander Reynolds was satisfied they were truly alone, he opened a channel to Earth. Director Chin, the Titan reports mission successful. All hostile vessels have withdrawn. Recommend we maintain elevated alert status for the next 6 months, but I believe we have made our point clearly. Chin felt tension drain from her shoulders for the first time in days. Agreed, Commander. Well done. Bring the Titan home. It is time the world learned what we built to protect them. As news of the confrontation spread across Earth, humanity reacted with a mixture of shock, pride, and relief. The Titan's existence was revealed to the public, along with the full story of Protocol Omega and the decades of preparation that had made this moment possible. There were questions, certainly, and concerns about the secrecy that had surrounded the project. But overwhelmingly, people understood that their leaders had made difficult choices to ensure survival. In the weeks that followed, other civilizations began making contact with Earth. Word had spread quickly through galactic communication networks about the species that had humbled the Krillian Empire. Some came seeking trade agreements. Others offered genuine partnerships based on mutual respect. A few came simply to see for themselves if the stories were true. Director Chin stood on an observation deck, watching the Titan in its orbital dock high above Earth. The massive ship gleamed in the sunlight, a monument to human ingenuity and determination. General Morrison joined her, the 2 women standing in comfortable silence for a moment. Do you think they will come back? Morrison asked. Chin considered the question carefully. The Krillians? No. But others will test us eventually. The galaxy is a big place, full of species with their own ambitions and agendas. The Titan bought us time and respect, but it is not the end of the story. Then what is? Chin smiled, a genuine expression this time. The end of the story is whatever we make it. Humanity has announced itself to the galaxy not as victims or supplicants, but as equals. We have shown that we can defend ourselves, that we can innovate, and that we refuse to surrender our freedom. That is a beginning, Sarah. The rest is up to us. Far across the galaxy, in the halls of the Krillian Imperial Council, Commander Vexthor delivered his report. The council members listened in stunned silence as he described the Titan and humanity's masterful deception. When he finished, the eldest council member spoke, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. This changes everything. A Tier 4 civilization does not build such technology overnight. They must have been developing it for generations, hiding their progress while we watched. What else might they be capable of? Another council member clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. More importantly, what does this mean for our expansion doctrine? If other species have learned to hide their true capabilities as effectively as these humans, how many other surprises await us? The council debated long into the night, but one conclusion was inescapable: the galaxy had changed. Humanity had shown that the powerful could be deceived, that the weak were not always what they seemed, and that underestimating an opponent could have catastrophic consequences. The age of easy conquest was over. The age of careful diplomacy had begun. And at the center of it all, a small blue planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow star had announced that humanity was ready to claim its place among the stars, on its own terms, answerable to no one but themselves. The Titan remained on watch, a silent guardian and a clear